Good afternoon again, and once again, thank you for taking some time to join us this afternoon. I think we've got a good presentation lined up for you. This is CRM for distribution, and I want to show you today a tool that absolutely can help you transform the way that you market and sell. So let's go ahead and get started here. Just a little bit of background before we get started. Behringer Associates, as a lot of you are used to our name, we are rebranding as Behringer Technology Group. So when you saw that on the splash side, just a note about that. You'll see some future information about that coming out shortly. But we've been in business for a long, long time, over 20 years at this point. We were founded in 1993, so lots and lots of experience working with wholesale distributors on technology in general. And one of those key focus areas for us has always been around sales and marketing, customer service in CRM. So we've been implementing and supporting CRM initiatives for over 14 years with Dynamics CRM. We are a Gold Certified Microsoft Solutions Partner for CRM, and we've been Gold Certified for over 14 years. And we offer CRM for distribution, which is a highly tailored version of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, specifically built for wholesale distributors, and obviously we'll be talking about that as we go through the presentation today. We are headquartered in southern New Jersey. We have offices in Florida and also have clients in just about every state across the country. And my name is Dave Buggy. I'm a partner and vice president here at Behringer, and I'll be leading us through the presentation today. So just a splash screen with some customers, a handful of customers that we've worked with over the years. Some on here I'm sure that those of you that are in the industry you'll recognize, and would love to provide references if the solution that we have to offer is something that you might have some interest in taking to the next level. So there is quite a bit going on in the world of Microsoft and pertaining to CRM and a new platform that they're launching, actually that they have launched as of yesterday, called Dynamics 365. So I want to spend just a moment on that. This presentation is not related to Dynamics 365 specifically and the new platform that's being launched. You'll probably remember the name for the product being Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And Microsoft has released a new platform that is replacing Microsoft CRM, functionality largely remaining the same. However, lots of improvements have been made to the application. There is a webinar tomorrow if you'd like to join us to learn more about the new platform called Dynamics 365. And we have a lot of information that has been put out on blogs, on our blog site, and so forth that you can catch up on that. But Dynamics 365 is a new platform that Microsoft launched, and basically what they've done is they've taken their functionality that's in Office 365, the CRM components that you're used to in sales, marketing, customer service, project service automation, field service, and they've also brought in back office ERP or accounting functionality in two different editions, the Enterprise Edition. The ERP or back-end accounting platform is called Operations, which a lot of you may have heard of the Microsoft Dynamics AX product, which is being rebranded to Operations. And in the Business Edition, meant for small and medium-sized businesses, the Financials app is called Financials. It's an application that they've developed. Some functionality in the Financials app was taken from Microsoft Dynamics Navision, which I'm sure some of you have heard of as well. On top of that, then, there is a lot of intelligence being built into the application across Cortana intelligence, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and then also lots of data analysis using Microsoft's Power BI components. So there's BI throughout the whole product, literally from communication, collaboration, all the way through what we think of as the traditional CRM components, and then also into the back office applications in operation or financials. So I know that's a lot to throw at you. I apologize, but I think it's important. You're probably hearing about Dynamics 365 out in the market. Essentially, it's a new platform that Microsoft has launched and pulled together applications from Office 365, their CRM components, a few new components, and then back office financials and ERP as well. Our solution sits on top of the platform, so the solution that we've developed in CRM for distribution is a product that we developed specifically for wholesale distributors. And it takes a horizontal application like Dynamics CRM or Dynamics 365 now, and it highly tailors it for the distribution industry. So it is a licensed product that is added on top of Dynamics CRM or Dynamics 365. Low price point for what you get, tons of functionality, and we'll be stepping through that here as we go forward today. By the way, if you do have any questions, feel free to enter those in the question area of your GoToMeeting client. We'll definitely be pausing and taking any questions and also allow time at the end for questions as well, and certainly encourage that, that interaction and feedback. So if you have any questions, please enter them in, and we'll certainly be taking them. So to take a little bit deeper look at Dynamics CRM for distribution, the application that we've developed, and I'll give you a little bit of history here, is that we've been implementing CRM solutions on the Microsoft platform for over 14 years. And we used to go into distributors and kind of open a blank notebook and sit down and say, okay, what do you want to accomplish with a CRM initiative? And what we learned over a number of years of doing that is that we were hearing mostly the same things from every distributor that we went into. I have a top 10 list. I did an interesting blog on this the other day that I essentially developed that top 10 list about 14, 15 years ago, and really it has not changed much at all over the 14 or 15 years that I've been using that particular list. In fact, I met with a wholesale distributor the other day that I brought up that slide and talked through it and asked them, does this resonate with you? And they looked at each other and looked at me and said, boy, did you write that just for us? And that's usually the reaction that I get when I cover those topics, is that, again, there were a lot of synergies towards what wholesale distributors needed to accomplish with a CRM initiative. So we decided to take a step back, and rather than starting anew every project, that we decided we were going to make the investment in building an actual application that was highly tailored for wholesale distributors and around those needs that we were hearing from so many of our clients. So we did just that. We invested well over $1 million. We developed CRM for distribution. It's a product that, again, is built on top of the Microsoft CRM platform. It is a certified for Microsoft Dynamics application, so Microsoft has formally certified our application, that it adheres to the guidelines of developing on the Dynamics CRM platform, and that upgrades are going to happen smoothly, and that we have a good support mechanism in place, and so forth. Another component of that, so in addition to all the great functionality that you see bullet pointed here below in this partial list, we also have a data sync cloud, which is the integration component to our solution. And again, that was one of the things that that we I wouldn't say necessarily struggled with in 14 years ago when we were sitting down with distributors to talk about a project, but it was more of a budget issue, right? That we sold a middleware application that would bolt up their ERP system with our solution. So there was an upfront capital cost in software. There was a cost in services to implement it and get it set up and so forth. And we decided that what we would do there is we would just build a cloud-based integration platform that would essentially have no licensing cost to it. There'd be no professional services required to set it up, particularly around the systems that we've already done an integration with. And it was a flat rate. We operate in a flat rate per month. So low price point. It's give you an idea. It's $500 flat rate, and that's not per user. That's per company. So when you implement our solution, the data integration component, your total cost is going to be $500 per month ongoing. So our solution, as I said, includes functionality that we've developed specifically for wholesale distributors and the ERP CRM integration component called Data Sync Cloud. So let's cover some of those points. What does a typical or average wholesale distributor need from a CRM solution? Well, these are off the top 10 list that I talked about. And again, if you'd like to see that whole list and some commentary about the items on the list, check out my LinkedIn page or check out our blog, Behringer blog site. There was, as I said, a good blog written on that just about a week ago. So 6 of those scenarios that we're going to talk about today, one of them is around a centralized sales and marketing database. Definitely one of the key needs that we hear from our clients as we first start to engage with them is that They're using multiple software applications spread throughout the organization. You know, you've got a system for marketing. You've got tools that the sales team is using that aren't centralized. You've got some people using spreadsheets. You might have some people using contact managers. You've got some folks using Outlook. Well, to do things like marketing and good reporting and analysis, and even just try and enforce a consistent sales process is extremely difficult when you have that many data silos and that many applications that are in use. So definitely a core need and goal is around centralizing sales and marketing functionality into a single system. Needing to improve the way that distributors are marketing. So the days of the shotgun approach to marketing, meaning that you're taking an email that has a specific subject, let's say, and you're broadcasting that to a very wide audience. That is not effective today. In fact, it's ineffective because if you're hitting people with information that is not relevant to them, they're typically going to ignore you, or they're going to unsubscribe and block you from sending additional content to them. So needing to get to a point of very targeted marketing abilities is definitely top of mind for our customers. Improving communication and collaboration, absolutely, in just about every project I've worked in related to implementing CRM within a wholesale distributor, that is an absolute key goal. Typical scenario in a distribution company is that you have an inside sales or customer service team, and then you also have an outside sales team as well. Both those groups are communicating with customers, and they're not always communicating internally as best they probably could be, and certainly very important for those two teams to be lockstep and on the same page as it pertains to a customer. So improving that communication and collaboration, not just between inside and outside teams, but across the company, is definitely a goal that we hear from our clients. Prioritizing account management, knowing from a sales perspective, what accounts should you spend your time and make your investments in? One-dimensional account ranking today is just not getting the job done. You can't look at a customer account and just look at, let's say, well, what's their sales been? That's one-dimensional. That just isn't working. So we're going to show you and step you through some tools that we have in our solution that will definitely help your sales team prioritize what accounts they should be spending their time in. Improving sales forecast and pipeline, again, another one of those key goals that I hear from just about every one of my clients. So important to the organization to be able to look at the health of the business, you know, now and then also going forward. And then finally, needing a tool that management and executives can use to run the business. And today we're talking mainly about sales and marketing. So needing a good sales and marketing management tool that those users can utilize in their daily job functions. So again, 6 of those scenarios. We're going to talk through each one of these. And again, encourage you to ask any questions. Please enter those into the question pane as we go through our presentation today. So let's talk first about a centralized sales and marketing database. So what does our solution offer around a centralized sales and marketing database? Let's go ahead and flip over here and take a look at our system here. So this is a demonstration system, obviously. So the data in here is not real live data, but it was taken from a live system, so data is very relevant. So when we think about centralizing a sales and marketing system, one of the things that certainly will come to mind is around customer information, right? So in looking at our solution, when we integrate with your back-end ERP system, we are bringing down a wealth of information from that system. A lot of it surrounds a customer, right? So you can see here is my kind of chart of accounts. We typically will replicate 2 key structures from your ERP system. One is around the customer structure, okay? So you see here I have a customer highlighted here, and there's a little org chart icon next to that customer. If I click on that, it's going to show me the hierarchical relationship that this customer has in the system. So we've got a parent level record, and then underneath that we have all the individual ship-tos that are associated with that parent company. So however you have that built out in your ERP system is typically how we replicate that structure when we bring it into CRM. The nice thing about that is that you can analyze things at a very specific ship-to level, or you can analyze things at the top parent account level. So you've got definitely the best of both worlds there in terms of analyzing your customers. The second structure that we typically build out is around the sales rep assignment to your customer accounts. So in your ERP system, you have those accounts assigned to a sales rep or to a territory. When we load up the integration and turn it on, we're making a translation between those users in the ERP system and those users in the CRM system. So sales rep number 101 in your ERP system translates to a user in CRM. Okay, so that's a translation table that is built into the solution, and that enables us that when we bring over all this great information, that we can enforce security around this information as well. So the typical security model is that outside sales reps can only see their own customers, their own orders, their own invoices for their customers, their own quotes, and so forth. Moving up a level, a sales manager can look at all the accounts and associated information for all the reps that report to them, and then up to a VP level and so forth. So think of it like a pyramid or a triangle, right? So you've got at the top the CEO and VP of sales and executives, and then sales management, and then reps and so forth, and that that hierarchical security is maintained throughout that structure. So looking at some of the other data that we bring in about your customers from ERP, we bring in all of your product information. So if I go over here to items, we synchronize that with your ERP system as well. So you're able to search for items in CRM, you're able to look up an item, you're able to look up key characteristics of that item, things like do we have stock on it? If so, what location is that stock in? The quantity free, quantity allocated, any other information that you might add to CRM, such as product spec sheets and things like that. And that's all, again, brought down into the CRM system. In addition to that, we have all of the transactional information about your customers as well. So if I go up here and I navigate into quotes, these are all the sales quotes that are in the system. Now, these could either be brought over and synchronized from the ERP system, or that you can actually perform quoting directly out of CRM. Really depends on how complex your pricing schedules are in terms of whether you can use the quoting module in the CRM system. Certainly one of the things that, that ERP systems for distributors do is manage all that complex pricing. So that might be something that you need to continue to do in your ERP system, but we leverage that by integrating and bringing over that quote information, and we're going to talk specifically about that in a little bit. We also then have all the customers' orders with status, so we can look at an order, we can look at how much of that's been shipped and invoiced, what is left open, and so forth, and that goes all the way down to the line item level. So if I open up an order here, you'll notice it goes all the way down to the line item level, and I could actually drill into that line item and get information specifically on that individual product that's on that order. And then we bring over customer invoices, in other words, sales history as well. So we go back 2 years in terms of the transactional information. So you're always going to have 2 years of solid information in the system. So lots of great views and dashboards and that built on top of this data as well. And we'll take a look at that as we go forward in the presentation. The other area that we bring in from the ERP system and centralize is not only customer information, but vendor and supplier information as well. And we do some really nice analysis around vendors and suppliers. And you can obviously access that right in the CRM system. And everything I'm showing you today is available to you all the way down to a mobile device. So you could be working on a full laptop, you could be working on a tablet, you could be working on a smartphone, you could be working in a web browser, or you could be working right out of Microsoft Outlook. Any of those scenarios are fully supported by the system. So we'll talk next about targeted marketing, definitely something that I see distributors struggle with. And largely, a lot of times, it relates back to that first item of not having a centralized sales and marketing database. So think about how difficult it is to take information that's in many different places and try and pull that together to do effective targeted marketing. Think about if you don't have a centralized sales and marketing system today, what is the labor that you go through to do that? Are you even able to get to a point where you can truly do targeted marketing. Again, understanding that the shotgun approach really is more of a detriment today because people will block and just ignore you if you're sending them information that's not relevant to them. Our solution leverages the leading digital marketing automation solution for the CRM space, which is Click-to-Mentions. Phenomenal product. I speak from a user perspective as well as a provider of that technology. They're a phenomenal company, and they developed just an amazing product, the #1 marketing automation product in the dynamic space for sure. So what does that offer? What does marketing automation include? Well, there's a lot that's included, and we could literally spend a couple hours just looking through the marketing automation component. So I've slimmed that down to just one scenario that we're going to talk through here in a couple minutes. But I thought it was important to highlight all the functionality that you would have access to through our marketing automation solution. So certainly email marketing, kind of a no-brainer today in a marketing automation solution, but some really, really nice features such as the ability to develop really, really robust email templates without needing to know a thing about HTML. Drag and drop WYSIWYG editors, and really you can just make your email marketing templates look fantastic. Web tracking, so being able to track people who are visiting your website and know what they're looking at, and being able to engage sales when there are people that shown interest by visiting your website. Lead scoring, helping reps determine what are the leads that they should focus on based on things like interaction rates. Good, absolutely, good perspective there to give a rep is, how active is a lead in terms of your email marketing, your website, and so forth. Fantastic nurture marketing component. One of the tools that I see people leveraging that are really getting a lot of results is around that constant keeping your name in front of a prospect. So absolutely key component to marketing automation today. And a whole host of other features. Again, we could spend literally a couple hours just looking at the marketing automation component. If you'd like to see a demo of that, we have one up on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and just put in Behringer Associates, you'll see that we've done some webinars around just the marketing, or feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to set up an overview and a demonstration of the marketing automation component itself. So let's talk through a couple of scenarios here related to marketing automation. One of the really difficult things to accomplish without a centralized sales and marketing system is marketing list management. So maybe you have a marketing tool, and maybe you're trying to do imports and exports out of that tool every time you want to do a marketing campaign. Well, that in and of itself is not optimal. And usually what you're not getting from that is really good information from your sales team. So they're all using kind of different methods and tools and things to manage their information, and getting them to give you good data in that scenario is exceptionally difficult. So kind of pushing information around between the different solutions and trying to pull it into your marketing software and really do effective marketing is a big challenge. So our solution gives you the ability to organize customers and prospects, and also vendors. A lot of people kind of overlook the marketing to vendor component of their strategy. Very important. So to take that information, those customers, prospects, vendors, pull them into targeted lists so that you can reach out to them in a targeted fashion. With the marketing list management capabilities in our solution, you're able to add contacts manually. So you can either just go to a screen, you can select records, you can then add them to a list, or you can query for them. So you're able to go in, there's a fantastic query tool. You can say, show me every customer that hasn't had an order in 3 weeks, and then add those key contacts to a marketing list because you want to reach out to them. Or you can also do it in a dynamic fashion. So in the background, it's using workflow that's automatically adding records to marketing lists based on data. So think about some scenarios there, for example, based on profile information. Let's say you want to build your marketing lists by industry. So as people are putting information in the system, they're putting in prospects, they're putting in customers, they fill out that industry field, automatically then those records are being added to targeted marketing lists that are built out by industry. Think about it deeper than that, though. Because we have all of the transactional information coming in from your ERP system, we're able to leverage that in our marketing cycles as well. One of those examples is to use it to manage your marketing list. So in the background, having these dynamic marketing lists being built by items that are quoted or ordered or invoiced. Maybe you want to add them to marketing lists based on products that they buy from vendors or particular supplier lines, or even by product group. A couple of common scenarios that we find with our customers. And then also manage subscriptions. So maybe you're a multi-line distributor and you sell some industrial, you sell some safety, and so forth, and you want to build out subscriptions to, let's say, newsletters, right? So you're able to build those subscription components into the digital marketing solution, and then use the tool to manage subscriptions to those different types of content that you're going to be sending out. And then finally, directing your marketing campaigns at those targeted marketing lists and getting to the point where you're sending people very, very relevant information and getting away from, again, that shotgun approach. So take a look at the marketing list that I have here just in my demonstration system. A couple examples. For example, we have a list that's built upon customers that have bought 3M product from us. Relevant example. We have one built for prospects that have shown interest in abrasive products. We have one that operates on the lack of data, meaning that we want a list that has customers that have not placed an order in 3 months. Good marketing list to have, right? Occasionally you want to reach out to them, maybe you want to throw an extra discount or a special out to them, try and get them re-engaged. So a couple of examples. I'm sure you could think of lots and lots and lots of more examples that you could have in your system. These are marked as static, but just know that these can all be dynamic as well. Again, being built based on data that's coming into the system, like orders and quotes and invoices, etc. So let's talk through a specific scenario. The scenario being that a vendor announces a price increase. So that's coming down the line. You want to go out and you want to communicate with all the customers who have purchased an item from that vendor or a specific item from that vendor. Or let's say you want to reach out to the customers that you've quoted that item to in a certain amount of time. And what you want to do is you want to urge them to buy before that increase. So I think that's a very relevant scenario. I'm sure everybody goes through this. Not sure that everybody has the capability to do this easily. Well, I'm going to show you how easy this is in our solution. So the first thing that you would do is you would either build your marketing list, and again, you could use the query tool, and here's an example of it. And all it's doing is saying, look for customer accounts that have an invoice where a product on that invoice equals a product ID, a product group, a vendor line, etc., and that then produces a list. And you basically take that list and you add it then to your marketing list that you're gonna communicate with. So in our example, that would be everybody that's either purchased that product or had that on a quote. Okay, so real simple query to do. You get that result set back. You add those records to a list. And as I said, this can be run on any of the information that's in the entire system. So you could run it against information that's on orders or quotes or invoices. You could do this lots and lots and lots of different ways, and a real robust query tool gives you the capability of doing that. So next then, once you have your list built, typically then you would just build up an email campaign. Really simple to do in the system, very graphical. Don't need to know a thing about HTML to do that. If you can use the basics of Microsoft Word, you can certainly develop an email campaign that's going to look fantastic. So we would build that campaign in the digital marketing solution. We'd send that out, and now what we want to do is we want to track the results, and we want to engage salespeople to go out and engage customers and so forth on that topic, right? So we send the campaign out, and you can look up here in this top screenshot that we have 2 campaigns that we've sent. One went to about 9,000 recipients. The other went to about 80 recipients. And right at a glance here, you can tell what's happened with these campaigns. So as you'll notice here, we have a phenomenal engagement rate with our campaigns. Why is that? Well, because again, we're doing it in a very targeted fashion, right? So we're not using that shotgun approach. And those of you that are on the webinar, it worked, right? Because you got one of our communications and you're here today listening to me talk about our great solution for an hour, right? So proof positive that it works. But you're able to, at a glance here, just take a look and see what's been happening with the campaign. How many deliveries did we have? How many opens? How many clicks? What's our engagement rate? There's reporting like a heat map as well. So if you wanted to pull up your campaign and look at what links are receiving the most clicks, there's a heat map that you can run against your campaigns. Just lots of great analysis that you can do around these campaigns. The actions that happen with the campaign are written back to the contact records in CRM. So what you can see in the bottom screenshot on the left here is a contact and all the different emails that they've received and what they've done with those, whether they were delivered, they were opened, they were clicked, and so forth, and that's all written back to the contact records. And what that enables you to do is to engage workflow and notify your sales team to go out and get in touch with people when there's some type of engagement that happens with your campaign. So you can see an email that I get whenever one of my contacts clicks on a link in any one of our emails that we send out. It's an automated workflow. Nobody does anything to make that happen. It just fires off notifications to our sales team that you might want to reach out to this contact. They've clicked on a link. It gives you a link right to the contact record in CRM. So if you click on that, up will come the contact, and then you can look underneath the contact record to see what link they clicked on, what page they visited, so you'll know what to talk to them about when you call. So phenomenally powerful solution and really very easy with the technology that we have available in CRM for distribution. So I thought that was a good marketing scenario, kind of teed up a number of different things, right? It solved a lot of challenges that a lack of a centralized sales and marketing database presents, not having to import and export marketing lists out of different solutions and not having to track salespeople down to get information. If they're entering it in CRM, it's going to be leveraged, be able to be leveraged in your marketing. And then, you know, talking about the marketing list functionality is so amazingly powerful, especially when you start creating those dynamic lists that are being built out automatically based on data that's coming into the system. So I'm going to talk through a second scenario, again, one that is absolutely top of mind with my customers, which is improving communication and collaboration. I always use the example of the inside sales and customer service group versus the outside sales team. That's definitely top of mind, but it goes beyond that. It goes, you know, across the entire organization that we need to stay connected and communicate today. So let's go ahead and jump over into the application. I want to go into a customer here. So I'm just going to go to the accounts area. I'm going to pull down and choose customers, and I'm going to go into a customer. So when I look at a customer record in our solution, there are a number of different tools that will enable you to stay connected internally, communication, collaboration, stay connected with your customer, and then for everybody to be on the same page with this particular customer. So again, let's take the scenario of inside sales and outside sales, both having interaction with this particular customer account. So when anybody opens up the record in our solution, what you're going to notice is right in the middle of the screen here, there's an automatic feed of information about what's happening with this customer. It's in most recent to least recent order, so it's in reverse chronological order, I guess that is. So it's telling me here all the different interactions that have happened with this particular customer by any person in my company as a whole, okay? So the things that you're going to see here is you're going to see emails that are sent or received. Automatically, those can be tracked and pulled into the history of the right records in CRM. You're going to see activities that people enter in the system, follow-ups and quote follow-ups and general activities that are happening within this customer account. You'll see phone calls. You'll see sales appointments that have been made. You'll see customer support cases. You'll see sales opportunities that get created and closed. So literally, in one view, you have a full history of what's going on within this particular customer account. And this doesn't just have to be a customer. It could be a prospect. It could be a vendor. It could be within a specific sales opportunity or a quote. You have that same technology available to you on all those different types of records. So think about this as kind of a Facebook-like component to the system, right? So when you go on Facebook, you are being presented with updates from people that are in your network and those that you follow, right? So even if you don't, let's say, manage this particular customer, or you're not, let's say, involved directly in an opportunity, but you want to stay connected with what's going on, as long as you have access to the record as a user, you can go in and you can follow a record. I'm already following this one. So again, same concept as what you do on Facebook or even LinkedIn, where you go and you follow somebody or you follow a company and it presents you with updates from that company. Same concept here. Your dashboard can also, when you log in the morning, present you with all the updates from all the records that you're following in the system. So one-stop shop for all the updates that have happened, and definitely keeps you on the same page with what's happening throughout your organization. You also have the capability of doing workflow alerts on just about anything in the entire system. So one of the common workflows that we turn on for our customers is an account update workflow. So basically, if I'm an outside salesperson, I want to know when there's activity by anybody else in the company with one of my customers. So we can turn that workflow on, and you don't even have to go and look at the customer record. That anytime there's an update to your customer record, it's going to automatically email you that update, right? So I could be in my car on my mobile device, and I could get an alert that my account Bayberry has just spoke to inside sales and got a verbal price quote. Right? So think about how powerful that would be for keeping those people in the loop. And by the way, salespeople love that. They love to be kept in the loop. They don't like to be in the dark. They don't like to get blindsided. Not that I can think of anybody that does. So this absolutely gets their buy-in and increases user adoption in the system, is to give them information and keep them in the loop. Also, I touched on it for a moment there related to email. This entire system is integrated from the email perspective. So if you're on Dynamics 365, which is Office 365, right, with hosted Microsoft Exchange, or if you have on-premise Microsoft Exchange, the email integration can be turned on such that anytime there's email that goes back and forth between, to or from, by the way, you and a customer, a vendor, a prospect, or anybody in your company, between them and a customer, vendor, or prospect, those emails can automatically be captured and put on the correct record, the history of the correct record in the CRM system. So absolutely relevant to the topic of improving communication and collaboration, because so much of our communication today is done digitally. That it's super important that that be a part of this strategy around communication and collaboration. So let's move on and talk a bit about prioritizing account management. I would ask you to think about whether your sales team does a good job at prioritizing accounts. Do you feel that they know what accounts that they should be investing their time in and company resources in to get the most benefit out of that? I can imagine that you're either putting your head in your hands, you're scratching your head, and probably some sighs that are happening, because I hear from a lot of accounts that prior to a solution like this, that's an area that is a definite pain point. One-dimensional account ranking just doesn't work. If you look at a customer and you're using something like maybe their past sales history as the single barometer for ranking that account, you're really missing a lot. So there's many other components that I think that everybody needs to take into account when they're kind of ranking their customers. I have a customer that we have just recently brought onto the system that the owner of the company, wholesale distributor, told me that one of the big reasons that he decided to implement a CRM system was that he was doing, at the end of last year, key account visits with his sales team. And they had flown out to another state, so they've invested, heavily in travel, and he and the sales manager were traveling out to this customer, and always thought of as a great customer. And they get there and they're walking in the door and having a conversation, and through the conversation they realized that this customer sales had steadily been declining for the last 2 years. Nobody caught on to that. It ended up that that customer was down 70% in sales over the prior 2 years, comparatively to the 2 years prior to that. And he just was shocked that, you know, that could happen, and that nobody was really aware that that was happening within that account. So it was one of the things that he was really looking for, being able to do in a CRM system, was track, you know, customer performance in a lot of different areas. So let's go ahead and jump over into the demo system again. I want to run you through a couple of different things and tools and data points that you could utilize to prioritize your accounts. So one of them is around summaries of information. So if you look here on the screen, I've got automatically calculated fields here that tell me a lot about this customer at a high level. So what's the open opportunity dollars that we have? What are our open quote dollars? How much have we won in terms of quote dollars? So right there is a great statistic, right? It's your kind of your win-loss in this customer account when you quote. So I'm sure we all have customers that ask for a lot of quotes. They get a lot of pricing. Is it important to know what percentage of those quotes that you close within your account? Absolutely. It's going to, again, go to helping you prioritize where you spend your time. It tells us from a lifetime perspective how much business we've won from this account, what's the lifetime sales opportunity been there, and what's the lifetime quote dollar opportunity been there as well. So really good perspective right there, automatically calculated. You just open the record and take a look, and that information is automatically populated for you. Another aspect is around customer ranking. So that is one component, right? It shouldn't be the only component, but it is one. And basically, our system automatically ranks your customers based on a couple of different ways, and we work with each client independently to determine how they want their customers ranked. This demo system happens to be doing it based on sales over the last rolling 365 days. And the system is just figuring out what are the aggregate levels between an A, a B, a C, and a D, and then it's automatically ranking each customer every night. So you can see that their current rank is a C, and they've dropped from an A. So right there is a workflow notification that happens and goes out to the sales rep. So that alone would have headed off that scenario that I talked through, where my client went into account and really had no idea that they had slipped in sales so much over the past 2 years. So automatically the rep would be notified whenever they go from one rank to another, either up or down. We have a tremendous amount of sales history analysis that happens in the product. So at a glance here, we can take a look at month-to-date sales, gross profit. We can look at their margin, numbers of orders. We can look at that year-to-date. We can look at that last year-to-date, and then look at it from a variance perspective. So this particular client is up 11% this year over last. And workflow notifications can be put on any level of this information, right? So if a customer declines X percent period over period in sales, excuse me, or gross profit, then notification can automatically be sent. Maybe you want to watch the gross margin within an account as well, and you don't want the gross margin to go below a certain level. So it's another easy workflow that you could put on the account to notify the salesperson when they cross a certain gross margin threshold. We go back, as I said, all the way back 24 months. So at any point in time, you can always go back a full 24 months and look at your sales performance in all those different individual elements back through a full 24-month history. Okay. We also have sales history by supplier. So out of the year-to-date sales number, what percentage of that, or what dollars are they spending across the different suppliers that you are doing business with, right? So I could easily sort this and look at, the top supplier that they're buying, the top vendor they're buying. We're also building in top item level sales, so you're going to be able to look at the same view by item as well, right? So you'd be able to look at current year, what are the profit, you'd be able to look back to last year, month to date, and so forth, and get a real good handle on where is your customer spending their money with you. And then we go down into some of the transactional information, such as what quotes are open within this account. Does that help prioritize where you should spend your time? Boy, I would certainly think so. If I'm a sales rep, that's one of the areas that I'm certainly going to focus on, is that if I've got a quote out on the street, that's one step away from revenue and commission for me. So knowing that is very important. So being able to look at a customer and look at what quotes they have open, being able to sort that by dollar amount, and making some calls into this account and following up on these quotes would be certainly a good investment of my time. So just a few ways that our system will let you prioritize your account management, help reps decide where they should be focusing their time, you know, and what accounts specifically should they be going out, reaching out to, and spending time in to get the best result back. So talk about sales forecast and pipeline. Another key goal for the distributors that I work with. I think that within a distributor, typically there are a few elements to a forecast. One is their quote pipeline, right? So for that kind of day-to-day business that's being done by quoting, that is certainly an element of pipeline. What quotes do we have open? What's our quote pipeline look like? What are the dispositions of those quotes? So as people follow up on them, what's the likelihood that those quotes are going to turn into orders or not? That all goes into our forecast and pipeline. Another is around longer-term sales opportunities. So ones that have not yet made it to quotes, but maybe, let's say that you hear about a project within a customer that's going to be happening in first quarter of next year. So you're not ready to quote that yet, but you want to keep track of that potential revenue. So managing that via a sales opportunity in the system is definitely beneficial. So that's another element to the pipeline, is maybe those longer term you know, potential sales that are out there that aren't yet in a quote stage. And then I also think that historical sales performance is another indice of your forecast and pipeline, right? So definitely can look at historical data and figure out what the trend is there within an account, within a territory, for a certain rep, and so forth, right? So all those things kind of go into the overall forecast and pipeline for an average distributor. So as I mentioned before, quotes are synchronized over to our solution in almost real time. So when there's a quote that's done in the ERP system, or if you're managing quotes directly in CRM, then obviously they're going to be entered as the quotes get developed. To clear my throat there. So with the quotes coming in automatically from the ERP system, you've got your quote pipeline automatically building based on those quotes being entered in the back office system, or those quotes being directly entered into the CRM system. And these, by the way, can automatically have a follow-up activity assigned to each one of the quotes that get developed. Now, one of the ways that we do that, and it's up to every customer how they'd like to, you know, manage this follow-up, but we can even do it based on dollars. So for example, let's say that every quote that's under $500, that you want the follow-up activity for that quote to get put into a queue for your inside sales team to follow up on. And let's say quotes that are over $500, you want assigned to the sales rep that manages that customer account. So we have that facility built in the system. We'd work with you on, you know, how you'd like to do that, what activities go to what group in the business. But the end result being that you have a fully accountable quote follow-up mechanism that you're going to have in place, right? So every quote should have an activity. Every activity has an owner, and somebody's got to follow up on that quote and provide feedback on you know, the disposition of that quote. There is an entire opportunity pipeline available to you in the system as well. So if I navigate over here into sales and I go into opportunities, this is the opportunity pipeline. So these are probably a little bit longer term types of opportunities that may or may not be at the quote stage yet. And one thing I failed to mention is that at the quote stage, right, so you have a quote that comes in from the ERP system, you can turn that into a sales opportunity with one click. So when I click that, there's a real-time workflow that runs in the background that's automatically going to generate a sales opportunity from that quote. So the scenario there being that maybe you called into this customer to follow up on this quote, and they said, yeah, it's likely that we're going to make this purchase, but it's part of a bigger project, and we're getting multiple bids on this, and it's we're not going to award the sale until, let's say, first quarter of next year. So rather than continuing to track that via quote, I clicked the box here. It now created a sales opportunity. I can click into that sales opportunity, and now I've got the full functionality of a sales opportunity to manage that potential sale. When I scroll down in the opportunity, you'll see all the items that are a part of that potential sale, and then a link back to the actual quote as well. So one click, you can turn a quote into a sales opportunity and start to manage it from there. The opportunity module in our solution offers a lot of great functionality. One is that you've got a nice sales process tool here to make more consistent the steps that you want salespeople to follow when they're in a sales process, right? So a nice visual tool. Rep knows what they've got to do to take this opportunity from qualify to develop to propose, and they have to satisfy any required elements of each of these phases before they can move on. So definitely will help you, with making more consistent your sales process overall. Scrolling down here a little bit in the sales opportunity, you've got the same activity management and update mechanism here in the middle of the screen. What I like, and I'll get to a better example of an opportunity here. Pull up this top one. Is that we have some automatic intelligence that's built into this as well. So what you can see here is it's automatically telling me how many days open this opportunity is, and the number of touches that have been made by the sales rep to work on this particular opportunity. So what does that tell me? Well, that tells me a couple of things, right? It tells me whether this age of this opportunity fits into our average sales cycle, right? Because if you analyze your sales information, what you'll find, and certainly after you have a system like this, this type of analysis would become a lot easier to you, but what you'll start to realize is that there definitely is a sales cycle to what you sell, and that sales cycle is different typically when you win versus when you lose. So if our average sales cycle is 18 days, excuse me, on an MRO opportunity, do you think this opportunity really is likely to close? Probably not, as it's been open for quite a long time. Number of touches is important as well. Is the rep following up and trying to close this business, right? So if you have an opportunity out there and nobody's following up on it, is it going to close? Well, maybe not, right? So it's very important to know how much follow-up is being done by the rep to try and close this business, and that's automatically calculated, and it's intelligence that's right on the screen for you to leverage. Then when you close the opportunity, oh, by the way, you also have competitive tracking in here as well. So if maybe this is going out to bid, or they're just contacting multiple suppliers, you can flag the competitors that are also competing for this business. And when you win or lose this opportunity, you're going to get a lot of great intelligence out of that as well, right? Because each rep has a win-loss rate. You can start to track your win-loss rate against your competitors. So there's a great report that is built into the system that's a competitive win-loss. So when you look at that report, it's going to tell you how many times you compete against each of your competitors, what the dollars won, the dollars lost, and the percentage of win-loss. So that's certainly going to help. Oh, and why you won or lost as well. So you're going to be able to leverage that in future sales cycles as you run into your competitors, and you can get much smarter about how you compete out in the market. Of course, there's great tools for pipeline in the system. There's inline dashboarding all over the place in our solution. So if I wanted to look at maybe our pipeline, maybe our sales leaderboard, what reps are leading the charge here in terms of sales. You see how many dashboard views we have in just this one area of the system, which is around the opportunity management area. And then there's some great reports for pipeline as well that you can push right out to even Microsoft Excel to do further analysis. So really, really good overall opportunity management, and will certainly help you in terms of forecasting and pipeline. So last scenario that I want to talk you through and walk you through here is around is around sales management, right? So sales managers, VPs, they all need a good tool to manage their team as well. So let's talk through that here for our last scenario. Whoops, advanced here a little quickly. So let's go over into our demonstration system. So one of the tools that everybody can leverage in our solution is the phenomenal dashboarding capabilities that we have. And we include just hundreds of different dashboard items that have been pre-built in the system. One of those is a dashboard for sales history, right? So if you're a manager of salespeople, or you're a territory manager, you're a VP of sales, you definitely want to know what's happening from a performance standpoint. So this is just a sample dashboard. If I'm a sales rep, this type of information would be beneficial to me as well, right? So what are my delinquent accounts by dollars? Who do I need to go out and ping for payment? What are my top customers based on profit year-to-date last year? If you're a sales manager, maybe you want to look at your top 5 and bottom 5 sales reps by dollars, by profit. You want to look at your item group sales, so what item groups are performing the best year-to-date from a dollars perspective, and so forth. All of these charts are all drill down capable as well. So if I'm going to dig into the data that makes up this chart, I simply just hit the drill down button. Up will come that chart with the data, and now I can just click into different areas of this chart, and the list will automatically slim down based on what area of the chart that I'm clicking on. Okay? Phenomenal capabilities around dashboarding and business intelligence overall. Say you want to track activity that your sales team is performing, right? So they're entering their activity into our solution, and now you want to go and you want to see what they're doing out in the field. So you have lots of ways that you can do that. There's lots of reports and so forth in the system, but we have lots of good dashboards that are built out to show you what's happening from an activity perspective. We work with each of our clients to understand what are the individual kind of KPIs that they want to know. Is it around how many sales calls a certain rep makes? How many accounts that are delinquent for sales activity, right? So if you've got your A-level customers, then you certainly want your salespeople engaging with those customers on a regular basis. So maybe you want a dashboard that shows you when that's not being done, right? All important information. So all of this can be brought up onto dashboards, onto reports. They can be workflow enabled. So when these conditions happen that fall out of your business tolerance, that workflow emails can automatically be sent to let you know when things are slipping, based on whatever KPI you're interested in. Another module in the system that I absolutely love is around goal management. So what you're able to do with the goal management module is to define goals and set them for individuals, teams, territories, regions, etc. So you can see that I've got goals around opportunity creation, opportunity dollars created, tasks and activities that I want reps performing, sales calls that have been completed, and so forth. And you can see what the target is and what percent achieved each one of these goals currently has, right? So at a glance here, you can tell who's on track for goal and who's not. Additionally, we have goal management dashboards that are built out in the system as well to let you manage that very easily right from your dashboard views. So you're able to go out and take a look at, what are the goals that you're setting for your team members, your territories, your regions, and how are they performing against the goals that you've set for them. Okay. So phenomenal tool for sales managers, salespeople alike, VPs of sales, and on up that sales hierarchy in your organization. Very important today to have a tool like this for the managers to be able to manage their teams. So I just looked at my watch, and just like magic, we were approaching the end of our session here. So if you do have any questions, please go ahead and put those into the question manager. Definitely be taking those. I noticed that we do have a couple questions sitting out there, so I'll get to those in just a moment. But just wanted to wrap up and summarize here why Dynamics 365 and our solution, CRM for distribution. Well, for one, it's purpose-built. It's specifically designed for sales and marketing at wholesale distributors. So you're not trying to take an application that was either built for another industry or built in a non-targeted fashion. We've taken the solution, we've highly optimized it and tailored it specifically for what wholesale distributors do. Very productive application and functionality. Familiar tools, you're able to use it from a mobile device, you're able to use it right from Microsoft Outlook. All this is being done right from within the context of your sales process. Intelligent, lots of great things that I showed you today in terms of intelligence that we're surfacing through the system. This is an area that you're going to see grow significantly over the next year in terms of what intelligence is being brought into these applications to help people be more effective at their job. And then finally, adaptable, that you can grow and evolve and transform with this platform. Lots of great tools built in to enable you to continually evolve this platform as your business, the ebbs and flows and changes that happen regularly with your business. And lastly, a question that I'd ask you to, to think about is, isn't it time to improve the way that you market and sell? So if you're not using a sales and marketing solution today, I definitely think it's time to evaluate what you're doing in that arena and the capabilities that you can gain by implementing a solution like this. So let's take a few questions here. Let me just give me a minute to pull that up. So one question was, can you enter a quote into the CRM system for an item that doesn't yet exist in the ERP system? Answer is absolutely. So if I go over here into quotes and I did a new quote, what you'll notice is that there is a capability called a write-in item. A write-in item is one that doesn't yet exist, and it's a free form that you enter quantity, you enter a description about the item, you enter the pricing, and it's all free form. And of course, this can all be tied to an approval process. So you're not leaving it just purely in the hands of salespeople to decide, what items they're going to sell and what the markup is and so forth. So the answer to that is absolutely. The other question is this cloud or premise-based? Well, excuse me, the answer is either, that we support either a cloud deployment model or an on-premise deployment model, and can certainly talk with you about the differences and the benefits and potentially even any disadvantages of either of those platforms. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information up on the screen here as we close. Feel free to reach out to me at any point in time if you want to go into any of these topics deeper, if you want to look at the components of the marketing solution that we didn't cover, please reach out. I'd be happy to do that. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I know we're a little over time today, and I appreciate everybody hanging in there. I haven't seen anybody drop off, so hopefully what you're seeing today was on track and it was engaging. Thank you again. I really appreciate you taking time. This webinar is recorded, so if you'd like to share it with anyone else, I'll be sending out a link tomorrow to our YouTube channel with a copy of the recording. So with that, again, thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great afternoon, and talk soon.